All right, so
Not
what is
really.
this residential center?
Oh, this is a place that the ministry owns. Well, not own. We're in the process of buying that. Yeah, we don't
So are
own
you
it yet.
renting to buy, or are you?
Yeah, we're leasing to buy.
You have that as an asset of 2,844,500. So do you own it?
I just answered that, didn't I? I said we didn't own it.
Okay,
We're
but
leasing to
where
buy
does
it.
the, I'm sorry?
We're leasing to buy it. Did you? I thought we just said that.
All right, but
Yeah.
you have listed it as an asset worth $2,844,000.
Oh, that should be more of a liability.
All right, so where does the number 2,844,000 come from on your
That's the
asset and liability?
That's, I guess, the appraisal value of the home or the residential center. Yeah.
Is it a home?
No, it's a residential center. We use it.
All right,
for
so you're saying it's not something you own, but you have it listed as an asset of $2.8 million.
That's probably a mistake. Like I say, it probably should be a liability.
Okay, and what goes on at the residential center?
It is really it's a gathering place for our ministry where I bring in different leaders and also the staff that we have as a place of maybe resort and teaching and training.
Resort?
Yeah, teaching. A resort where we teach and train.
On November 29th, 2013, JMMI paid over $6,000 to Louis Vuitton.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What would that be for?
Well, this is for clothes concerning my TV ministry as well.
Oh, you have to wear Louis Vuitton?
Oh, it don't matter what name it is. The point is clothing are allocated to us for ministry purposes as well.
What do you mean they're allocated to you?
In a media ministry.
In a what?
Media ministry.
Yeah.
Okay, or on the road when I'm always traveling and using my clothes, I'm sweating through them. So I'm needing new clothes also for television ministry through the years. So.
And so you use ministry money to buy your wardrobe?
Outfit.
Your
It's allocated more towards ministry apparel.
Does that go into what your income is?
I'm sorry.
Do you show that in your income that you got Louis Vuitton clothing?
No, that's not. That
doesn't show.
Because it don't go there.
It don't go there. I don't know
No.
what that means.
It don't belong there. That's out of place.
What's out of place?
You don't get taxed on things like that. That's for ministry business purpose. So it's not.
Louis Vuitton.
Well, you can call whatever you want.
So June 2014, you spent $3,500 by JMMI to Versace in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
I'm sure that's right. If it shows there.
And that was for clothing for you?
Yes, probably. Yes, most likely.
So you don't see that there's any problem when you're ministering to the poor, the sick, the needy, to be appearing in Louis Vuitton and Versace?
Well, that ain't something I purchase all the time.
No, it looks like you did several times in...
I'm a very frugal person when it comes to this. I go to the right places to get a lot of suits. And if I get some from those places, you don't see that.
I don't see Macy's.
No, you don't see that, because Macy's don't have the kind of suits that I wear. But what I'm saying is, this Louis Vuitton things, you don't see that in our charges all the time.
2013 and 14, JMMI spent over $30,000 in your clothes. Does that sound about right?
What year was that?
13 and 14.
Oh God, yes, because I was traveling so much, and sweating through all my clothes. Exactly. That probably wasn't enough, because just have so...
But they have to be top-of-the-line expensive ones.
No, they're not top-of-the-line clothes.
Louis Vuitton's not top-of-the-line?
Those not where I get my suits from.
Well, you got something from them for
yeah.
spent thousands and thousands.
Well, the belts are more lasting, so that's good.
Come on, you're buying belts for $5,000?
No, I mean
Okay.
multiple belts, not
August 2014, you went to the Gucci store in Troy and purchased something?
Yeah,
What
like
would
I
that
say,
be?
it probably was a belt or maybe shoes. I don't
Belt
know.
or shoes?
But I don't usually buy my suits from these very expensive places. I just get the things that I invest in will last longer, like such as belts.
So you got to go
or
to
shoes.
Gucci or places like that.
Well, no, I buy those things from there because they have a better TV appearance for the belt.
For
and
asking for money
shoe.
from the poor?
No, it's
You paid $1,000 to Monsieur Clothing in New York, and then another $715. Whose clothing was that for?
where's that now? I don't understand.
August 1st, October 28th, total of over $1,700 to Monsieur Clothing in New York.
I don't know about that.
All right, you testified at your last deposition that JMMI owns 3 vehicles, a BMW, a Mercedes, and a Bentley.
Yes.
Have you driven those cars?
Yes.
Is Michelle?
No. We usually have a driver.
The 3 cars that we've talked about, in whose name are the titles?
Then the ministry name.
They're all in JMMI.
I think everything except the Bentley.
Whose name is the Bentley in?
It's in DeWin McDeal.
I have a question, just from a, you administer the poor and the sick and all that. Isn't it a little offensive to be driving around in a Bentley and a Mercedes to people that really, are impoverished and sick and ill and AIDS and drug rehab? Isn't it a little offensive to sort of being show-placing what you have?
Well, dear one, I don't showplace to people, and I'm not in
Bentley.
that car. You don't see me driving around in that car every day. I don't do that.
But it's in
You
the
know.
ministry. Everybody
No.
in the ministry sees you. You said you drive it.
I haven't before. You just asked me have I drove it, but it ain't something I drive every day or even every year. I don't do that. I have drivers who pick up my guests, my high-profile guests. No,
But do you see my point that people that are suffering and giving you whatever their last dime is and in donations and drug habits, to have them see you drive around your high-profile guests in a Bentley or Mercedes might be offensive and hurtful even?
It could be offensive if they didn't know my life, but they know
Oh.
my life. It would be offensive to someone like you who's trying to make it bad, but,
So it's
because your
important you have a
attitude,
Bentley.
it ain't really important. That don't make me.
Then you also have a Land Rover that you lease.
Range Rover.
Range Rover.
Yes, it's not a Land Rover. It's a Range Rover.
Which is the better one? I don't even know.
I don't know. They're just cars, so.
All right, then there's a series of documents that total almost $50,000 to Limo Land in 2013 and 14. You have to answer yes instead
Yes,
of- Okay, what was that for?
That was to cut the Mercedes into a limo.
It was to cut the Mercedes.
Into a limo.
And who needs that?
No, that's for guests.
It's for guests and for you
It's mostly
when
for
you're
guests.
entertaining guests?
Yes.
When you're entertaining.
Well, I'm not. When we have guests come in, high-profile people, we
You
we
have to have a
treat them
limo.
that way. Don't have to have a limo, but
In a
We-
Mercedes limo.
we treat them.
You treat them?
I said that we have hospitality. Maybe that's a better word.
Okay, then.
And this is not the first one the ministry's had. We
Oh,
had
not the
another
first.
Mercedes limousine. Yes, right. So
So you paid Limo Land almost $50,000 total,
almost 50,000
and that was
To cut
for what? To make a limo.
to cut the Mercedes into a limo.
And you think that was a good use of the money that people donated to you in JMMI?
Well, I mean, the banks certainly have looked at that on our books as good because it has an appraisal value of almost $200K, a little over $150,000.
So, but you got this from donations, and you decided to use it to make a limo.
We really invested really good. The banks
No,
really
I'm just
think
asking
that.
if that's what you did.
No, not the way you're saying it. It's you're fortifying, forging.
I'm forging?
With your mouth,
David,
yeah.
just the question is,
Okay.
did you use the money for the purpose?
No.
The answer is yes.
So,
In June of 2013, there's over $6,000 worth of charges for the Disney Resort Hotel in Anaheim, California. Do you remember that?
yes.
And did you go?
Yes, I was there.
Does JMMI pay any of your auto expenses?
Yes.
And how much?
Auto expenses, I wouldn't know exactly how much.
You don't know how much you get?
No.
Who
The
would
board
know?
takes care of that.
Who's the board?
You can ask Michelle. She's another person to refer to.
What about your housing? Does JMMI pay any of that?
Yes.
You get a housing allowance?
Yes.
And how much is that?
I'm not sure.
And do you report these allowances as compensation on your tax return?
Honestly, I don't know how all that work. I have other people who do that, so you can refer to Michelle on that.
Michelle does your taxes?
No, I have other people do it, but she's over a lot of that, the financial aspect.
When you say it's up to the board, now the board includes Michelle,
Yes.
you,
Yes.
and who else?
I'm not sure. You can ask Michelle.
You don't know who's on the board?
Totally. I would rather you get the accurate information because I don't want to be accused of answering falsely like I have been other times when I've tried to guess. So I just rather you, I'm telling you I don't know, just ask her.
How
She'll
many
let you know.
people are on the board?
Don't know. Just
You don't know?
No.
Don't you have to have board meetings?
Yes, we do have board meetings.
So can you count around the table how many people there are?
Well, our board also grows at the same time. So I just rather you just get that information somewhere.
The last time you had a board meeting was when?
So on the phone, I think it's been the beginning of the year in January. Can't exactly tell the date, but
It was on the phone?
yeah. I have never been to court for no criminal charges.
Did you ever
that I
hire
understand.
pardon me?
Go on.
Did you ever hire an attorney to represent you in any criminal defense manner?
Yes, I have. And that was the only thing I could think of in 13 is me, when I disciplined my child, and that was the only thing. So I don't know anything other than that.
Tell me about that one. Was that in St. Louis?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And which child was that?
That was last year, I think, or the year before last, if I'm not 13. So,
Which child?
Destiny.
Your 18-year-old daughter.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And was this done through Children's Protective Services?
I think so. Yeah.
And what were the allegations?
Well, that I had disciplined her because she skipped class 20 times, and they felt my discipline measure of using a belt was abusive.
All right, so you used a belt in disciplining Destiny?
I don't know if I can speak on that. Can I speak on this? Because my lawyers told me don't.
Then, not knowing the status of this proceedings.
Is it resolved? Is it all done?
I'm going to object to the question.
Well, let me just ask if it's what the status is.
If he knows.
I don't know.
All right, I'm not asking you to say what you did. I'm just asking if the allegations were that you disciplined your daughter with a belt and caused...
Okay.
Just allegations.
Well, you may ask, but I'm going to pose a constitutional protection on that.
What's the constitutional? I'm not asking him to say what he did or didn't do.
Anything that might lead to or otherwise might considered be incriminating, I think he's got a right to assert defense.
I think he
Right.
can tell me what the allegations are. That is not privilege,
Well,
Fifth Amendment or
I think that
otherwise.
it is, because if he doesn't know, he's
I don't.
speculating, and I'm going to assert
Well,
the
he's not
privilege.
saying that.
I
Well,
don't
I'm going
know.
to assert the privilege. It's absolute. Somebody wants to take it. You know, I don't know. I don't know who the lawyer is. He doesn't seem to know the condition of the matter. So to avoid any kind of drift, and I think maybe you might be concerned about it as well.
Well, is this, let me ask you, did this rise to the level of court intervention by the local court in St. Louis that does,
Don't speculate if you don't
well,
know.
I
please
don't know.
don't testify for him.
Well, I don't know. I
Did
mean,
you go
I'm
to
not
court
sure.
on it?
What court? What do you?
Any
what do you-
court. Did you ever go to any court about these allegations that you disciplined Destiny physically, LaBelle?
So would would family court be
Yeah.
known as?
If you know.
Yeah, family court.
So
yeah.
you did go to family court? Yes?
Yes.
And what was the outcome of that? Is it done? Is it pending?
I don't know.
You have no idea.
No, I don't know everything.
Is that why Destiny doesn't live with you now?
Yes.
Peace and love, fam. You got Moreno Bey. I'm back again. I got another topic, you know. I've been sitting back thinking real hard and long about this one, you know, because this topic is very controversial, but it seems as if people still don't really hear me, though. You hear me? So this right here is called The Pimp versus the Preacher. What's the difference? Alright, what's the difference? Because, I mean, they both have the same qualities to a high degree when it comes to mentally controlling their followers. They both like to dress in nice attire, drive exotic cars, lust after very, very attractive women, and so on, alright? So my thing is, what's the difference between a preacher and a pimp? We got to figure this one out, y'all. I mean, you got to really think about this. Now, I live in the South, all right? So I live along what they call the Bible Belt. And there may be a church. You may have like 3 or 4 churches on every other block, okay? And this is not within a mile's range. This is like every other block, and I'm straight up serious, or more. I remember one time I was traveling, and I know I counted like 11 to 12 churches within maybe 2 or 3 blocks. All right, now, question. We have so many churches down this way, but we have even more crime. You understand? So something's not adding up right, all right? Either the preachers don't know what the hell they talking about, or the people that attend the church, the audience, or the congregation, either they're just as lost. You understand? So something's not right. The same people that attend these churches, not just black preachers, so to speak, even the so-called white preachers, you know, they getting over too. You understand? The game is very lucrative. So that's why I want to speak on it, all right? I have a a few questions. You know, I like to put these questions out to y'all so y'all can kind of think about it as well. You know, it's something to analyze. Now, most people will say, well, it's not all pastors and preachers that's like that. Okay. Now, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay? Because maybe a small percentage is not like that. Okay? But when you look at it to a high degree, they're all like that. All right? Because first off, they won't tell you how to get the things that they get. You know, like a financial, like a business plan. Okay, step by step, this is what you do. Step A. Step B, this is what you do. You know what I'm saying? So they don't do that. So that further lets you know that they're crooks. All right? Only thing they do is tell you is to have faith in God. You understand? They tell you to look outside of yourself into some unknown entity instead of looking within, the God within. All right? And it's really sad that our people follow this madness. I understand, but like if you walk into a church, see, it's easier to control women than men. All right? Men are not followers when it comes to religious texts like women are. All right? If you go inside of a church, you'll mainly see women and children because they're easily led. All right? You may see a few men in there, but it's a hell of a lot more women and children in there, okay? Now, I got 10 questions, y'all. I'm going to start it off like this. My first question. Does God enjoy gospel music? Yep, y'all heard me right. I'm going to ask it again. Does God enjoy gospel music? That's the first question. Now, I'm asking that question for a reason because so-called black people, BET Awards, Kirk Franklin, all of these people that say they love God and, you know, these clean-cut, rich punk motherfuckers with their suits on, slick suits, all right? They always have gospel music playing. But it has nothing to do with spirituality. You understand? It has everything to do with controlling a certain point of your brain to have you stuck within that matrix of entering that building that they call church to further paralyze your mind. All right? So, does God enjoy gospel music? Would God say, well, I don't like that, you know, I want to hear that type of gospel music? You understand? All right? Now, the Negro spirituals, they dealt more with spirituality than what these BET Award guys do. All right? That's crazy. All right? That's my first question. Second question. Now, this is dealing with how people give offerings to the church, pay tithes to the church. But the question is this. When you pay tithes to the church and you give offerings to the church, where is it actually going? Okay, where is it actually going, and do you really care? Or do you just choose to ignore it because it may be going somewhere that's not benefiting you or the church? So my second question is, how does the church determine how much the pastor make? Okay? How does the church determine how much the pastor make, his salary? Or do they determine it all? Or does he set his own salary like a pimp? Think about it. Does he do it like a pimp? He just get the money to get the finance, you know, pay for everything, get you to attend and sell you a big dream. Okay? Because no one in this millennium can say for a fact with proof that they've actually seen a guy come out of the sky and come down and save them. Okay? So what kind of mental bliss what kind of mental bliss are the people really in? Just think about it. All right. So again, second question, how does the church determine how much the pastor make? Okay, number 3. Is the pastor's salary determined on how good of a preacher he is and or his skills to receive raises in the future? Because think about it. On a regular job, the only way you can advance is you have to prove that you know something in order for you to obtain a raise. You don't just get a raise. You understand? So how does the preacher get richer and richer and richer and richer? How does that happen? By fleecing the sheep. That's how it happens. All right. My fourth question. If the people are the sole providers to the pastor's wealth, is it fair that they do a regular audit on the finances as they do with any other business? Think about it. Church is a business. It's on paper. It's in writing. So who's doing the auditing? Okay, when they do their board meetings or whatever, all right, are the people that funded the church in on the audit? Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. Check this out. The quickest way to make a pastor mad, a preacher mad, because normally you don't really see preachers angry. They always have this soft tone. Hi, sister. Hi, brother. How you doing? Yeah, God loves you. They always have that type of voice, right? The quickest way to piss him the fuck off is like this. You ask him, where are the financial statements for the last couple of years in which all the offerings and tithes have been given by the audience or the congregation? He's gonna turn that soft-spoken, humble voice into this. You better get the fuck out of my motherfucking face. That's what's gonna come up, all right? So the quickest way to make a preacher mad is to ask that question. I challenge y'all to ask that question. Why don't the people audit the church financial books? Why don't they audit it? Is it fear? Is it because they think God personally gave him the permission to get finances from his audience or congregation or the people? Is it because of that? Or is it because God loves money so much? Actually, does God need money? Why does he need money so much? I thought it was about teaching. I thought it was about learning. All right, fifth question. Collectively, why don't brothers enjoy gospel music? Now I'm going back to gospel music. If you think about it, you don't really see brothers getting in the car with their rims playing gospel music. You don't see brothers walking down the street with headphones on. Even though you can't hear it, you can tell by the movement because music makes you move a certain way, playing gospel music. Now, you might see the black church sissy in love with gospel music, but you don't see regular, normal, heterosexual brothers playing gospel music. Why is that? Because it's something weak, in my opinion, about gospel music. Because if it was a threat, think about it, if it was a true threat, it wouldn't be so, I mean, they wouldn't pump it so much. Just say that if it was a threat. All right? It's not the truth. The truth is always a threat. Okay? That's my point. Number 6. This is the 6th question. Why does the black church sissy enjoy gospel music? Again, the black church sissy and gospel music is synonymous. Neither one is a threat. Okay? I'm giving you the answer on that one. All right? Number 7. Why do pimps and preachers have so much in common? Why do they have so much in common? Think about it. Like I stated earlier, they both have the same persona, demeanor, dress code, the same taste for exotic cars, women, mental control. All right? Same thing. Okay? If you look at a pimp and you look at a preacher, they look similar. All right, they look a lot similar. And why is it that why is it that pimps seem to go into the preaching lifestyle once they so-called are retired from pimping? Now remember, y'all, pimping is mental, okay? It's all about control, period. You gotta know this, all right? All right, I'm gonna go to number 8. And it's basically, why do pimps normally become preachers? Now, I know I just said that, but I need to address that again. They normally become preachers because the pimping lifestyle has always been looked at as foul, degrading, etc. Now, when they retire from pimping and become a preacher or a pastor, it's more washed up. It's more cleaned up. It's sort of like a politician. They wear a suit, they smile. You think they're the good guys when actually they're just the bad guys with suits on. Okay? That's how it works. Number 9. What does the audience or congregation have in common with whores? What does the audience, congregation have in common with whores? Now you got to think about it. Picture the audience. The audience is in the crowd, the people, congregation that listens to the preacher without knowing anything or having any knowledge or will to study anything. The preacher just stands up and just give them information, give them information, give them information, and they swallow it whole like a pill, okay? With nothing else to go by, and sell them big dreams. Now think about this. You have a pimp and you have a whore. The pimp does the same thing to the whore. All right, think about it. The pimp gives out information to the whore. Gives out information, gives out information, gives out information. She doesn't ask any questions. She just takes the pill. Whole does exactly what he says, and he reaps the benefit just like the preacher. Okay? Think about it. Number 10. Last but not least, why do most black preachers love fried chicken, pretty women, expensive suits, lavish homes, exotic cars, eloquent jewelry, sometimes little boys, and get hoe slapping mad when you ask for their financial statements in regards to how things are being handled? Answer: because they are the pimp and you are the hoe.